Nothing like having a good old classic to go directly into next after playing Mario 64. Is the original Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. But you might notice that the screen looks a little different and might ask yourselves, hey, why is the screen like this? It's because I have the Nintendo 64 port on my Nintendo Switch. And thus, being able to do that, I could be able to play games like this. Plus, after this one, if you guys enjoy me playing this for whatever reason, I can switch right over to Majora's Mask to go directly into the sequel, air quotes, because that continues straight after this game. But I could also do some of the other games that you might recommend. But for now, let's have fun, and let's play this. Go ahead and name ourselves Star Boy, be able to keep with most of the continuity that I have planned for the rest of my Nintendo runs. You might have noticed there is StarKing files because I missed this. In the vast, deep forest of Hyrule, long have I served as the guardian spirit. I am known as the Deku Tree. The children of the forest, the Kokiri, live here with me. Each Kokiri has his or her own guardian fairy. However, there is one boy who does not have a fairy. The fact here, he's supposed to be sleeping, but his eyes are still open, was the one thing I always thought was interesting. And as you notice, I'm playing without my headset. I'm playing it directly through my TV. Playing a 3D Zelda was always something that entertained people, even from when I was born. Navi, Navi, where art thou? Come hither. Oh, Navi the Fairy, listen to my words, the words of the Deku Tree. Dost thou sense it, the climate of evil descending upon this realm? Malevolent forces, even now, are mustering to attack our land of Hyrule. For so long, the Kokiri Forest, the source of life, has stood as a barrier to turning outsiders and maintaining the order of the world. But, before this tremendous evil power, even my power is as nothing. It seems the time has come for the boy without a fairy to begin his journey. The youth whose destiny it is to lead Hyrule to the path of justice and truth. Navi, go now, find our young friend and guide him to me. I do not have much time left. Fly, Navi, fly! The fate of the forest, nay, the world, depends upon thee. And thus, now we get to see the world for a small portion of time through Navi's eyes. Even though this one she's portrayed as a small ball of energy and has wings, I always picture this like a little, just like sprite of like a fairy within that ball of energy. Because you see each one has its own coalescence of colored energy. I always felt like that one had to hurt. Even if it's just like a repulsion thing because of her energy, I feel like that one would still hurt either way.
Hello.
Hello, Starboy. Wake up. The Great Deku Tree wants to talk to you. Starboy, get up. Hey, come on. Can Hyrule's destiny really depend on such a lazy boy? I'm not lazy, I'm still waking up. That's what you don't understand. You're waking me from a dead sleep. One I've been having nightmares about a guy in black armor. You finally woke up. I'm Navi the Fairy. The Great Deku Tree has asked me to be your partner from now on. Nice to meet you. The Great Deku Tree has summoned you. Let's get going right now. Okay. And now here's the point in time where we finally get to have control of our hero. This is the Kokiri Forest. Then we see our friend Saria just running up to us because we have finally gotten up out of bed. Yahoo! Hi, Starboy! Just jump right off real quick, and then get disoriented because of the camera angle. Wow, a fairy! Finally, a fairy came to you, Starboy! Wow, that's great news! I'm so happy for you! Now you're a true Kokiri, Starboy! Is that right? The Great Deku Tree has summoned you? It's quite an honor to talk to the Great Deku Tree. I'll wait for you here. Get going! Go see the Great Deku Tree! Alright, I guess I will. So let's go ahead and say hi to the Great Deku Tree, even though we've got Miko? I think his name was? Hey you, Mr. No Fairy, what's your business with the Great Deku Tree? Without a fairy, you're not even a real man. What? You got a fairy? Say what? The Great Deku Tree actually summoned you? What? Why would he summon you and not the Great Mito? Mito, I thought it was Miko. This isn't funny. I don't believe it. You aren't even fully equipped yet. How do you think you're going to help the Great Deku Tree without both a sword and shield ready? What? You're right, I don't have my equipment ready, but if you want to pass through here, you should at least equip a sword and shield. Sheesh! Well, fine. I'll go see exactly how much it is to find a sword and a shield. Maybe the shop over here has something. Hi, Starboy, look this way. Look over here with Z and talk to me with A. Okay. Yes, that's how you use a fairy. It's so great that you finally have a fairy partner. I'll teach you how to talk to people using your fairy. When a fairy flies near a person or thing, press Z to look in that direction. If you use Z targeting, you can talk to people from a distance, like we're doing right now. When you have nothing that you can target, you can press Z just to look forward. Try it. Well, I mean, it does make it easier to move the camera angle around. And hey, look, that looks like a shield right there. The Deku Shield costs 40 rupees, and as you can clearly see, I am broke. I have no money. So we're gonna go see if there's anything over here. I'll take 5 rupees, that's fine. And we're gonna go over here, we're gonna see if there's any rupees. Oh yeah, that's right, there was some rupees that were on these platforms. And there's nothing on this way back. Maybe if I go back this way. Because I know there's some rupees that are hiding within the grass here. And then there's a 5 right there. I'm still waiting for them to actually decide to bring in the Nintendo GameCube port. Oh. The Great Deku Tree has summoned you. Please come with me. Well, I can't quite go in there because Mita's blocking my entrance there, Navi. I need to find a sword and shield in order to be able to access the Great Deku Tree's area. But since I, again, have mentioned that I have been playing this and know exactly where everything is, I'm going to go and get me the sword real quick. Plus, with this game being literally just a little bit younger than me, and I have extensive knowledge of exactly where a lot of things are, I could do a speedrun of this at one point, just for fun. I could literally just do this on stream for you guys. Oh, by the way, because I brought it up, I have technically twitch.tv/StarKing. I have some gameplay of stream of me playing this. The only slight difference is that you might notice you got the Kokiri sword. On the equipment subscreen, it's selected with the cursor and equipped it with A. This is a hidden treasure of the Kokiri, but you could borrow it for a little while. Be sure to practice with it before you really fight. And within the subscreen, I press start, which is the plus button on here, and then I use... Here's the weird bit, because how they have the controller set up. Let me show you. As I mentioned, I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch port for Nintendo 64. And you see the suspend points? Here is the one for StarKing. Here is the one for the stream one. I'm going to be using save slot 3 for this, because if not, I lose all my progress. For when I go to create a suspend point, which is technically a save point. But here is the controls for this. You have the Nintendo 64 controller in the center, and these are the buttons that they have to use in order for me to be able to use anything. To press the Z button, I have to press ZL, which is all the way back here. Or if you're using the little Joy-Con, it's the very back top button. If I want to use the R button, I literally just press the front R button, not ZR, but R. So we'll go over here, and then we will go ahead and equip the Kakiri sword. So now we have that. Because when I first played this, I got so confused at how the controls worked, and then I forgot that I can't move the camera around like I would on the Mario 64 when I was playing it for you guys. Which, by the way, you absolutely loved when I played that. So we'll have fun just making all sorts of content for you guys for that. Navi, can I get, like, off this, please? Please? Thank you. A green rupee? I thought it was blue. Oh well. I can easily get some more rupees by cutting grass. And we're almost there to getting our... Okay, so there's 35, and there's a blue rupee right there that we could easily get. The right stick, instead of being used for the camera controls, it's actually used for what was known as the C stick, or the C buttons. Because on the Nintendo GameCube there was the C stick to help better control, like, the buttons. Whereas, the Nintendo 64 controller had the little, D-pad for the C, which was like the yellow buttons that you could use to use the Ocarina with. So we'll go ahead and buy ourselves a Deku Shield. You got a Deku Shield. Switch to the sub-screen and select the shield. Press A to equip it. Press R to crouch and defend. If you press R while Z-targeting, you can move while defending. If I buy something else? Nope, but I have no money. So now we go over here. There we go. Now we have the shield. We have both the sword and shield. So now we can easily go over here to Mido and try to finally get into here. If you want to see the Great Deku Tree, you should at least equip a sword and shield. And? What's that? Oh, you have a Deku Shield. And what's that? Is that the Kakiri sword? Good grief! Well, even with all that stuff, a wimp is still a wimp, huh? I, the Great Mido, will never accept you as one of us. Shoot. How did you get to be the favorite of Saria and the Great Deku Tree, huh? Yeah, I didn't start officially playing this on my own. I didn't have a Nintendo 64 at my house. I actually borrowed my grandfather's. You get a Deku Stick. On the select item subscreen, you can set it to left, down, or right. Set it to C and swing with C. When you want to put it away, stand still and press A. You can carry up to 10 sticks, but don't waste them. That's easy. All I need is my sword and a dream. But yeah, my grandfather was actually the one that had a Nintendo 64, so he had both Ocarina of Time, and he had the collector's edition, the gold cartridge of Majora's Mask with the holographic label. Great Deku Tree, I'm back! It always confused me that this version of the Deku Tree only has a mustache that's visible. And, one, for example, the Wind Waker Deku Tree basically doesn't. It has, like, the choo-choos that look like pimples on them. Oh, Navi, thou hast returned. Starboy, welcome. Listen carefully to what I, the Deku Tree, am about to tell thee. Thy slumber these past moons must have been restless and full of nightmares. As the servants of evil gain strength, a vile climate pervades the land and causes nightmares to those sensitive to it. Verily, thou hast felt it. Starboy, the time has come to test thy courage. I have been cursed. I need you to break the curse with your wisdom and courage. Dost thou have courage enough to undertake this task? Yes, we do. Then enter, brave Starboy, and thou too, Navi. Navi the fairy, thou must aid Starboy. And Starboy, when Navi speaks, press up on C to listen well to her words of wisdom, as we have already done already. Alright, so now we get to go into our first dungeon inside the Great Deku Tree. We just get basically inhaled by a sentient tree inside the Deku Tree. Again, being able to play some of my favorite games from my childhood is always something to look forward to. Ow. You got a Deku Nut. On the select item subscreen, you can set it to left, down, or right. Set it to C and try throwing it. It will flash and stun the enemy. Okay, well let me go ahead and set both the stick and the nut. What's up? Look, Starboy, you can see down below this web using up. And you can literally have a free look around with this, but if you look down, you can literally see the lower part where the boss is. But in order to get down there, I have to break this webbing. Now, as you may have noticed at the beginning episode, I will be putting up a warning for those sensitive to flashing lights. And this is just a reminder that I'm going to be using the Deku Nut to show you guys exactly what happens. So if you are sensitive, I would definitely recommend looking away in 3, 2, 1. The flashes from defeating the enemies are a bit softer than it is with the Deku Nut because it is a brighter flash. But I want to make sure that those watching do not have any sort of like complications, because my aunt, she has epileptic issues, and so playing certain games that involve like constant flashing lights, defeating enemies aren't the issue, but having like constant flashes, like constantly throwing down the Deku Nuts, makes it difficult for her to constantly want to play the game. Look at this wall. The vines growing on it give it a rough surface. Maybe you can climb it, Starboy. I would, but there's Skulltulas all over the walls. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know if I'm the only one that thought about this. When I was younger playing this, I didn't know that the Skulltula's eyes was actually at the bottom of the skull, like a regular spider would be, where the pincers are. Like, if you look at the... On your screen, I'll zoom in, where the pincers are between the legs. I didn't realize that's where the eyes were. I thought that was just glowing teeth because I was a kid playing this and I was dumb. You found the dungeon map. Press start to get into the subscreens and look at the map subscreen. Blue chambers are places you have already visited. Your current location is the flashing room. Move the stick up and down to select a floor to view. But yeah, if you look here, the smaller Skulltulas that are on the walls don't portray the flashing lights of the eyes. Okay, I need to like back up. There we go. Now we can go this way, and then we can get a notice from Navi that we can open the door by standing in front of him and pressing A. Pay attention to what the action icon says. That's the blue icon on the top of the screen. Tells me to return. I can attack open. Attack is literally just rolling forward. Ow, ow, ow. Forgive me, Master. If I give you a clue, will you let me go? When you jump off a high cliff, if you hold forward on the stick, you will roll on the ground. When you land, it won't get hurt from the fall. I can't guarantee it'll work, though, if the cliff is really, really high. Well, try it if you were feeling bold. Wahaha! So now that we have, quote, defeated him by getting the secrets out of him, we can now access the next area, which is here. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I never noticed that platform that's up there to the left of Link. You found the fairy slingshot on the select item subscreen. Set it to left, down, or right. Press C to take it out and hold it. As you hold C, you can aim with left stick. Release C to unleash a Deku Seed. If you want to shoot right away, when you first press C, hold down C a little longer to get a seed ready. And thus we will go ahead and set the slingshot to get ready. But yeah, up here is simply a heart, but we're going to go ahead and get this item check just because it's here. You got a recovery heart. Your life energy has been replenished a little. And then there's a... Ooh. Well, fell right off. Look, Something is hanging up there. It looks like an old ladder. Ah yes, thank you, Navi. So now that we got that, we can go down here. And then we get the item check for the Deku Seeds. These are small, hard seeds that you can use as bullets for your slingshot. And currently I can only hold 30, but I can hold a maximum of 50 if I complete 2 objectives. One objective is being hitting 3 bullseyes on the way to through the Lost Woods, and then doing the quote-unquote archery challenge in Castletown. And with at least a slingshot, it makes it a lot easier for me to defeat my enemies. Oh, you dropped me a rupee. Consider it. Now, at least on the bright side, compared to my Skyward Sword gameplay, I don't have to worry about stamina being an issue. I just have to make sure that I know exactly where I'm at all times. And now, here's where the flashing eyes is taken into consideration. You'll see on the Skulltula here. You can see those eyes that are glowing right there? That's what I thought was its teeth because of the angle of the Skulltula. I did not mean to hit that, but okay, that worked. I still got my hearts back. And let's get through this door. Okay, we'll go ahead and light this up. Now, you hear that noise of a Skulltula moving around? There are such things, if you do not play Ocarina of Time or Legend of Zelda at any point, that is the sound of a golden Skulltula. Now, you might be curious as to what a golden Skulltula is and what it looks like. We will actually take a look at that here in a moment. I will need to activate those platforms again to bring them up and then go the opposite direction where the big Skulltula hanging is. We found the compass. Now you can see the locations of many hidden things in the dungeon. Plus, now you can see in the bottom right hand of your screen that now we can actually see where we are, which door we have entered, and if there are any other chests in the room. Now, there's that Skulltula. We will go ahead and take care of him. Now, I'll have to look it up, and the editor can put down the information, but, as far as a jump attack goes, I don't know if it does like 2 times the amount of damage or 3 times, but it is very helpful, especially when it comes to fighting bosses. Now, this over here, this is a golden Skulltula. This is the sound that you will hear whenever a golden Skulltula is nearby, as they don't move and they have a golden mask on them. Thus, by defeating one, you are given a golden Skulltula token. You destroyed a gold Skulltula. You got a token proving you destroyed it. Now, to see how many you have, you'll go over to the quest status subscreen, and you'll see here how many gold Skulltula tokens you have gotten over the course of your adventure. So far, we have 1, which is just our first one. We will easily get more as we traverse through the dungeon, and we'll also be able to get rewards if we collect enough of the golden Skulltula tokens. And clear you. And now, since there's nothing else up here that we can do, we're going to go ahead and jump right off over this webbing, break it, and then fall down here. And then you hear another golden Skulltula down here, in which there are actually 2. One here, we can hit with our slingshot, and then there's one all the way over there. Now, as far as I'm aware, these items don't despawn until you leave the area, in which case, say you happen to get an item or get a golden Skulltula token that is too far out of your reach, and you still want to collect it, and you accidentally killed the golden Skulltula anyway. You don't have to worry, because if you leave the token behind and can't get it, you'll be able to go back and collect it later, as the golden Skulltula will respawn. Press the button to activate the torch, and then in this chest was what again? Another heart. That's right, because in this dungeon there was no locked doors. It was literally just the the webbing that's in the way, and then any of the iron bars on the doors to defeat the enemies. And then we get you. Please forgive me, Master. I'll never do it again. If you spare me, I'll teach you something cool. You will never beat my brothers up ahead unless you punish them in the proper order. The order is 2, 3, 1. 23 is number 1. Do you think I'm a traitor? Well, you did kind of sell your brothers out, so it is possible. But you are helping the side of good, technically, so it's nothing to really worry about. I'll take all those, thank you. Now here comes the fun part. After you get into the water, if you hold down A, you can dive. I bet there are some interesting things underwater. Well, yeah, Navi, there are some interesting things underwater, like this switch right here. Which, for a first-time viewer, if you don't know what that symbol is right there on the switch that I pressed, that is the symbol of the Gerudo tribe. Uh-oh. You hear that noise in the background behind the clicking of the gears on that bar? That is a timer. And if I don't clear this soon enough, I will have to do this again. Uh-oh. Yep. And so I gotta press this button down again, and I gotta get the proper timing down. But yeah, if you see in the action icon there was a start of a 3 and then going down to 1, that's as long as Link can be able to go underwater without having to come back up for air. If you're wondering why I'm doing this, is because that way I don't take damage. I mean, with it being like this, I could easily get away with it, but I don't want to take the chance. Okay. So we'll get this, or that, and then there's a block here. If we stand next to this block and grab hold of it with A, while holding A, you can push or pull it. If you stand next to the block and press A while pressing up towards the block, you can climb on top of it. Pay attention to what the action icon says. Which will be something that'll be a little difficult for me later on, because I know at some point I'll be going too quickly and end up climbing the block instead of trying to grab it and trying to move it. And there's an iron bar. Don't be mean to me. Okay, collecting some fire. Light the torches to open the door. Now, the one thing I don't understand when it comes to Legend of Zelda speedrunning is how players are able to defeat the game so quickly, but also have the tech to be able to have the Deku Stick use up so much power. Now, if you look up here, you'll see these eggs that are up here. Those are basically larva eggs of the boss of this dungeon. You can kind of see the positioning based on the shadows on the floor. Now, they don't bother you as long as you don't hit them. Or you don't get into their quote-unquote detection box. We put that away. And now we can enter into here, and thus go over to this next area. Now here's the fun part, because for those of you that are kind of unaware, there was a hidden gem of this version of the game for the Nintendo GameCube that was the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Master Quest. And essentially what the Master Quest was, is just, you play this over again, but the game is a lot harder, especially in the dungeons, because not every playthrough looked exactly the same as this version of it. Now, for you curious about the code, and you see the 3 Deku Scrubs here, you might ask, how do you know exactly which one goes where? How do you know which one is 1, 2, and 3? It's actually very simple. You go left to right. The left one is 1, then the middle is 2, and the far right is 3. So we have to hit them in order. And without getting hit by the Deku Scrubs, we just have to hit them in the proper order, which will then cause you to hit this and then go after it like the other ones did. If you mess up the order, the Deku Scrubs will stop glowing blue, go back into their pods, and you have to do it all over again. How did you know our secret? So irritating. It's so annoying that I'm going to reveal the secret of Queen Goma to you. In order to administer the coup de grace to Queen Goma, strike with your sword while she's stunned. Oh, Queenie. Sorry about that. And thus, now we get to go in here, and we get to actually fight the boss now. Again, fair warning, there are going to be flashing lights, because I'm going to be using the Deku Seeds for this, and try to defeat the boss as quickly as possible. Because, why not? Now, if you're able to, you have to actually zoom in and then look up at this. It's actually kind of funny because Goma actually looks like a hand. And that's the only strike you get at the very beginning, because then you have to wait for Goma to climb up the walls to the ceiling to do this next. Because if you wait too long when she does this next part, before I strike her with this Deku Nut, or this Deku Seed, she will actually give birth to some more of the larva in this dungeon. You can literally just one-cycle her like that. Doing 4 consecutive jump attacks without missing will grant you the ability to be able to quickly defeat the boss. And now we get to have this heart container. You got a heart container. Your maximum life energy is increased by 1 heart. Your life energy will be totally filled. And now we go into this blue light and exit the dungeon, thus sparing the great Deku Tree of the curse. Well done, Starboy. And this was the most sad, story part of Ocarina of Time. Thou hast verily demonstrated thy courage. I knew that thou wouldst be able to carry out my wish. Now, I have yet more to tell ye. Wouldst thou listen? Yes, Deku Tree, I will. Now, listen carefully. A wicked man of the desert cast this dreadful curse upon me. And now we get to hear the story of how this happened. The man from our nightmare, on a black horse, clad in black armor. This evil man ceaselessly uses his vile sorcerer's powers in his search for the sacred realm that is connected to Hyrule. For it is in that sacred realm that one will find the divine relic, the Triforce, which contains the essence of the gods. Before time began, before spirits and life existed, the 3 golden goddesses descended upon the chaos that was Hyrule. Din, the goddess of power. Nehru, the goddess of wisdom. And Furor, the goddess of courage. And I love the way that they portray the creation of Hyrule is based on the 3 goddesses, Din, Nehru, and Furor. Din. With her strong flaming arms, she cultivated the land and created the Red Earth. Nehru poured her wisdom onto the earth and gave the spirit of law to the world. And Furor with her rich soul, produced all life forms which would uphold the law. The three great goddesses, their labors completed, departed for the heavens, and golden sacred triangles remained at the point where the goddesses left the world. Since then, the sacred triangles have become the basis of our world's providence, and the resting place of the triangles has become the sacred realm. Thou must never allow the desert man in black armor to lay his hands on the sacred Triforce. Thou must never suffer that man, with his evil heart, to enter the sacred realm of legend. That evil man who cast a death curse upon me and sapped my power. Because of that curse, my end is nigh. Though your valiant efforts to break the curse were successful, I was doomed before you started. Yes, I will pass away soon, but do not grieve for me. I have been able to tell you of these important matters. This is Hyrule's final hope. Starboy, go now to Hyrule Castle. There, thou will surely meet the Princess of Destiny. Take this stone with you. The stone that man wanted so much that he cast a curse on me. And thus, we are given the sacred gem of the Kokiri, the one entrusted to be guarded by the Great Deku Tree. You got the Kokiri's Emerald. This is the spiritual stone of the forest, now entrusted to you by the Great Deku Tree. The future depends upon thee, Starboy. Thou art courageous. Navi the Fairy, help Starboy to carry out my will. I entreat ye, Navi. Goodbye. Let's go to Hyrule Castle, Starboy. Goodbye, Great Deku Tree. And thus, he has now departed from our world, and we will now be able to go to Hyrule Castle. But that is all the time that I have for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing to the channel, as that does help the channel grow. Consider liking the video if you want to see more of this, as I will most definitely do more for you guys. And as always, I will see you all in the next one. Have a good one, everybody.